As great of a year as 2017's been for Nintendo, until recently there were still a few concerns about the company's future, mainly to do with Nintendo's tendency to do things ass backwards from time to time, as well as the third-party problems they've been dealing with since the 64. But after September 13th's Nintendo Direct, N-Dog's bases are loaded heading into the 2017 holiday season with something to offer for everybody. In other words, Nintendo's life's about to get flipped turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute. So just sit right there and I'll tell you how Nintendo became the Fresh Prince of, shit. Actual human shit. I don't know. Before I start, I will say that while Microsoft and Sony are technically Nintendo's competition, I'm not gonna make comparisons or even predict that either of those two companies will do bad, nor do I want them to. In fact, I'm sure they'll do great this holiday season, and I hope they do as well. But they've been doing fine for years now, while Nintendo's been going through all kinds of ups and downs, so I'm gonna talk about why Nintendo's back with a vengeance. So here's 6 reasons why Nintendo's gonna continue to thrive into 2018. The first reason why Nintendo's gonna give us awesome year all rolled into the window of a few months is that we're gonna get plenty of variety. The launch for the Switch was actually pretty underrated if you ask me. Sure, the best games were mainly Wii U ports, but nobody even remembers what that console is, and it takes literally 8 minutes to port Wii U games over to the Switch. And I'm being serious about that. I personally went to Nintendo's HQ in Kyoto, Japan and asked Reggie-san, hey, does it take 8 minutes to port Wii U games over to the Switch? And he said, how'd you know? Yes, it does. Aside from the Switch launch having more games than people give it credit for, the overall Switch library was still a work in progress as far as having something for everybody goes. But Nintendo's hybrid console is officially gonna have an assload of games by the beginning of 2018, and most of it's gonna be available by the end of 2017. You want long adventures with exploration that'll keep you busy for 37 years? The Switch has got it. Fighting games? Yep. Indie games? Yeah. RPGs? Whatever Splatoon is? You better believe it. Gimmick games? Yep. Okay, you get the point, but the fact that so many third-party games are gonna be on the Switch is kind of a big deal, especially with the likes of Doom, LA Noire, and Wolfenstein 2, among others that are third parties' ways of testing to see if their games will actually sell on the Switch. But since people who actually play video games are the ones who own the Switch as opposed to grandmas buying Wiis, I think people are gonna eat this shit up. I mean, who wouldn't want to play these games on the go or while you're dropping a doo-doo, even if the graphics are slightly downgraded from the PS4 and Xbox One counterparts? It's also important for the Switch to be getting these kinds of games because it sheds the image that Nintendo's only for kids. And even though people already own a lot of these games, whether they're Wii U ports or from Microsoft and Sony's consoles, the key here is that you'll be able to take these with you on the go, which I still think is the coolest thing ever, and a big reason why the Switch versions of the games might be the ones to get if you don't mind paying the Switch tax. For those of you who don't know what the Switch tax is, it's a term used for third-party multiplats costing $10 more on the Switch than on other consoles. It is a bit of a bummer, but some games will have extra features that utilize the Switch's gimmicks other than portability, and I honestly don't think people will mind paying a little extra for select games. After all, PS4 and Vita games are sold separately, so Switch games kinda count as 1.5 games. I mean, we're getting portable console games, so even if you played them before, it'll be awesome to be able to take these with you and play them on your TV. But obviously the main game Nintendo has going for themselves this year is what could quite possibly be the best game ever made, suck my peck, I went there, Super Mario Odyssey. I haven't played it yet, but come on, look at it. Even if it's not the best game ever, it looks like it'll at least be in the top 2 games of all time, and to sweeten the pot even more, there's gonna be Switch bundles with this game packed in. Even though the bundle's not really gonna save you any money, it's still cool, and if you don't own a Switch, then this bundle's a great incentive to get one now. As good as things are looking for the Switch though, this video isn't just about how Nintendo's hybrid console's gonna have a great year, but Nintendo in general. And when I said Nintendo's got a lot of great games coming out this year, I was also talking about the 2 and 3DS, which is cheaper now than ever before and is gonna have a cool limited edition Pokemon design for bonus points, on top of already having an assload of great games available if you're new to the party, plus plenty more on the way from a brand goddamn new 2D Metroid game, like 3,000 new RPGs and that Mario Party game, which looks pretty cool, I guess. There's also gonna be a lot of new amiibos coming out, and whether or not you're getting any, there's still a ton of people who will, which only means that things keep looking better and better for Nintendo. And as promising as things already look for Nintendo, they went even one step further and got their thumbs out of their asses in regards to how many SNES Classics will be available, claiming that stores will be regularly stocked and that nobody should pay more than retail price for one. So unless scalpers really go all out, everybody who wants one of these is gonna be able to get one, and there's a lot of people who want these. So the SNES Mini's basically gonna be another thing that pisses money for Nintendo. With the Switch already being wildly successful unreliable to the point where it would have sold out until next year anyway, in addition to the third-party support that was announced to join the already expanding library of Switch games, as well as the 3DS being cheap with a shitload of awesome games that people are still buying with more on the way, along with new amiibos, and the SNES Classic being readily available on top of being in such high demand already, I'd be shocked if Nintendo didn't hit it out of the park this holiday season, and I'm glad they finally found that sweet spot that pleases everybody, more or less. And since they're making fans happy, their shareholders are probably gonna be horned up to the high heavens. A lot of people scream fanboy at anybody who wants Nintendo to succeed and make money, but it's not that I particularly care about these businessmen making more money per se. I just love the games that this company makes, and I want them to keep doing that. And in order for that to happen, they need to do well financially. And for Nintendo to do well financially, they need to stay on the course they're on right now so everybody can win and we can all keep playing the games we love. If you have a favorite in these console wars and want one company to do better than another, or even put them out of business, then you're a dick. It's beneficial for everybody that all three companies do well, giving us, the consumer, more options. And like I said at the beginning of the video, Microsoft and Sony have been fine in recent years, so I'm just glad Nintendo's doing well again. But that's not to say that there isn't room for improvement for next year. I mean, the Switch's headset situation's absolutely inexcusable. It's literally just as bad as the Cinco product from Tim and Eric. And besides that, having more games for the Virtual Console outside of arcade versions of a few NES games would be nice, since I want Nintendo 64 games on the go. If Nintendo fails to deliver on those two things, then I'll roast their asses next year. But for now, I'm just glad that Nintendo's delivering variety again, as well as certainty by providing innovation without forcing the one-dimensional gimmicks. The Switch allows you to play many different games many different ways, and that's a good thing. But I'm optimistic that Nintendo will address these problems and that things will keep getting better from here on out, as long as Nintendo doesn't get cocky or stubborn like they've done in the past during successful times. What do you think, though? Are you excited for all the Nintendo tomfoolery on the way, or do you hate me for borderline Nintendo fanboy territory? FYI, there's PS4 games I'm excited for too, you know. Either way, let me know in the comments and I'll pin the most entertaining comment regardless of whether or not it has anything to do with this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're super badass and too cool for school. And if you're watching this video on Colombian Independence Day, then happy frickin' Colombian Independence Day to you. My name's Cameron, thanks for watching.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.